You have to answer the question. Am I canceled or not? Then let's go.
Dave Chappelle is standing his ground, and it's awesome. Finally someone has the balls to say no to the woke mob. He responded to the comments that came out from the little walk that couldn't, claiming that he refused to speak with anybody, saying, quote,
"That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we're speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore."
I expected as much. I'm pretty sure they got this trait from feminists, and just like with them, it's just sad to watch it happen. Did none of you think this would get back to Chappelle? Did you really think he wouldn't respond? The same man who made a comedy special in response to your previous lies. I know it's obvious, but you have to say this out loud because some people just don't get it. You don't get to talk shit about somebody and think they're just gonna let you do it, especially when they have the means to clap back. Why would you think this would happen with this man? So then Dave makes this interesting point.
I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say.
I think he's right about corporations. You know, those altruistic, benevolent institutions who would never screw over their employees or customers just for the almighty dollar. But I think Dave is also being a little generous with the alphabet people. I'm sure most of the gay community isn't trying to tear him down. However, a good chunk of them are totally willing to destroy his career just because they can. They've got that victim status, and they wield that thing like a double-ended dong. They will happily fuck themselves just to fuck you. There's a major problem on the left, and not just the far left, but the left in general, with worshiping victimhood. This seems to coincide with the shift on the left from being liberal to being progressive. The progressive ideology holds victimhood as the highest status, and when that happens, it encourages people to find ways to make themselves the biggest victims ever, and to use that victim status to get their way, especially against anyone they think wronged them. When it comes to comedians, it's not that the comedians have actually hurt anyone. It's that comedians are above the table. They get a pass to say whatever they want. And that's a problem for people who want to wield power because they'll be on the receiving end of those jokes, and they don't want anyone pointing out their flaws. And Chappelle is a master at doing that, so he has to go. Dave also has a point though about corporate interests. These businesses are making a very simple calculation about the immediate backlash from anything Chappelle says. If it'll cost him money in the short term, they're willing to sacrifice him. No matter how much anyone running the business says they're about free speech and free expression, they are running the business. And if they have to let your ass burn to get that dollar, well, I hope you doused your ass in Crisco, because you're going up in flames. Chappelle then talks about this film he made last year during the Wu Flu, where he hosted comedy shows at a farm near his home. The first part was about George Floyd, and the rest was about the comedy shows. He wanted to show the film at festivals, but
when this controversy came out about the closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film.
Really? Weren't these the same people shouting Black Lives Matter all last summer? Weren't these the ones plastering it all over their films and shows and games? Don't they still have it listed in their social media bios? I thought they was all about Black Lives Matter. It's almost like this was just some shit to say to virtue signal. Black Lives Matter, till you make fun of gay people. Then it's fuck you niggas. In the words of Mark Wade, "Return you they was tricksy. Return you they was false." This was so obvious that it was embarrassing watching people believe it. Why you gonna believe these people? These are the same people who don't give a squirt of piss about somebody allegedly engaging in research that likely led to the current pandemic, but lost their shit when they found out he tortured puppies. Millions of people infected or dead, fine, but don't you touch them puppies. Full-on hypocrisy on display, and it's just gonna get worse from here unless more people do what Dave Chappelle is doing and stand up to these people. Yes, regular folks need to do this to make a point, but we also need high-profile people to do it too, because they have a wider reach than the rest of us. It shouldn't just be a handful of comedians out there refusing to follow this shit. There should be more high-profile people out there saying no. And then we get to the best part of Chappelle's response.
To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands. And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
No fucks. No fucks given. This is what makes Chappelle so awesome. We can't lose a treasure like this man. We need more of this, not less. No fucks given. Chappelle wraps up saying that he's going to make the film available for people to see. Seems like it's going to be a limited run. Maybe Netflix will host it, which will go a long way in showing some integrity. I still think they're going to bend the knee at some point, but we'll see. All this comes down to a very basic thing. More people need to stand up and say,
am I canceled or not? Then let's go. Thank you very much and good night.